You know, the old proverb goes that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. It's not very often that we here in Utah get to see that kind of a historic journey start. But I think today, in this riding area just outside of Moab, Utah, such a journey began when Governor Jon Huntsman climbed on a dirt bike, fired it up, and roared off into the future with a local riding club.
The planned tour of the Sovereign Trail System north of Moab, Utah came at the invitation of a group called Ride with Respect, a club made up of southern and central Utah dirt bike riders that took the project from start to finish over the last decade. The governor was impressed with their accomplishment and with the members themselves.
They're such passionate riders, they took their own time, raised their own resources, and basically scoped out a trail system, which to me spoke to the idea that this can actually be done in a lot of areas. I thoroughly enjoyed riding these trails.
We've actually constructed 20 miles of single track and maintained 20 miles of existing roads, and we've spent in the past 5 years $50,000 to construct that, but maintaining it is much less costly compared to the return.
They're passionate not only about the trails, but they're passionate about people respecting those trails and respecting everybody else who's using those trails as well.
Club member Dale Perriott feels that most riders would respect the rules and routes if they just knew what and where they were.
The public has not been educated, the public has not been managed. They have been herded. We've proved today with the governor that when there is a trail system that is signed, sealed, and delivered, and maintained, built to grade, people go on it, use it. Virtually, we have no law enforcement out here.
If you could take this little 2 square miles and make a 20-mile trail system out of it that's got something for everyone, I'm certain that there is plenty of room out there.
While the governor was impressed with the club and their trail system, the Respect riders were likewise impressed with his desire to learn and listen. Not to mention his riding.
Not every governor can keep up on a motorcycle, but I can attest that Governor Huntsman actually can.
The governor has some skills, and he has taken the time to get the proper training to keep him as safe as possible, and he has a genuine love for the sport.
I think he fully understood the difference between involving the users who know the sport and are willing to invest in it, as opposed to the area across the road where it's been more of a hands-off type of management.
I think the governor does have an understanding that law enforcement is one component of gaining compliance among OHV users, but education, engineering, having sufficient quality and quantity of trails is basically underlying the compliance issue, and so you have to tackle it with all those approaches.
I hope that the governor realizes that managers need experts in their field to help manage land. The BLM has experts in mining, experts in grazing, experts in timber. They really don't have experts in OHV. And so I hope that he tries to make sure that we've got experts that are passionate and knowledgeable about the sport and the activity involved in the decision making.
As the day pressed on, I got a rare glimpse of Governor Huntsman, one that many of his opponents, allies, and comrades would be surprised at. Well, I've met him before, but it's always been on company time. Today was partly his time. I sense that even in his downtime, he is a little bit perfectionist, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Another is that despite his stature of public office and that he comes from a very privileged past, his feet seem to be squarely planted on the ground. He was just one of the guys riding. He was a natural fit. It was obvious that this was not just a photo op, but rather a chance to talk about riders, tracks, and desert races. In talking to him one-on-one, I felt a certain distance, but I think that was one created by the environment of politics and the media, and that minus it, we would probably get along real well. One thing that was clear, a fire burns in his belly when it comes to dirt bikes and riding.
I'm a motocross rider. I'm very passionate about that. I go out on trails like I did today every now and again, and I thoroughly enjoyed being out today. It was one of those days you'll never forget in life. As our state grows, we're going to have to come up with a truly world-class trail system. The whole land use debate is an iterative issue in the sense that it never ends. And we're never going to get to an end point where you just kind of close the book and say we finally arrived. You can't look at the here and now. You've got to look at where the state's going, where it's going to be, what it's likely to look like in the years to come, bring all of the voices together, and then make the best decision you possibly can. This is important for the state, and we want to make sure we get it right for all the people who take writing seriously, starting with me.
In parting, the governor had some words of advice, not just for the Ride with Respect writers, but for all of us to whom this issue is important.
Be passionate about what you do, but realize that we share the land with a whole lot of other people. But be passionate about what you do, be passionate about what you love, and participate politically. Get out there and make your voice known.
I believe that they'll help us. I think that they're looking for an opportunity and a credible group to work with, and I hope that we've proven to be that for them.
I think this is probably one first giant